selling a lot of, you know, higher end cards, but I guess, you know, you said, you know, off camera that you're, you know, we're going through them looking to see what was worth getting graded and what wasn't. So, you know, you deem some of those cards not gradable, and you let them go, which is basically what you have to do. I mean, if they're not, it's not going to get a 9 or 10 unless it's like a LeBron James or whatever rookie or Michael Jordan rookie. You basically have to either cut your losses or try to sell for some type of gain after fees and everything like that. So
definitely. And guys, if you do sell something that you deem to be ungradable, you don't have to say in the listing, hey, this is an ungradable card. But if there's something in the card that you found to be a flaw, definitely point it out. Like whether it's a lot of like the mosaics, for example, there's a lot of surface issues with like any of like the mosaics or the prisms, that kind of stuff. So say like if I'm looking over those type of cards and I see even something that looks like a little speck, it might just be a tiny little dimple that makes zero difference in the way the card looks or anything. PSA will downgrade that at least from a 10 to a 9. Just for that dimple. And then say it's like even just a little bit off-centered, you know what I mean? You could be looking into the PSA 8 category. And for me, it's like if me as an amateur, like I don't consider myself to be like any kind of like know-it-all in the world of sports cards. Like granted, I consume a lot of sports cards YouTube content, as I know Nate does as well, just because we're both trying to learn as much as we can so that we can, you know, make the most money out of the sports cards we have, but also get the best deals on the stuff we want for ourselves. Right, so anything that I deem to not be a 10 in my eyes, being the somewhat amateur I am, I just listed and got rid of, because if my unskilled eye can find something, I know for a fact PSA is going to find more. You know, or Beckett or wherever you send it to. So that was kind of how that was my process. Nate will tell you I was probably a little bit harder on my cards than I probably should have been, but you know, you got to be careful, because you don't want to be getting back 8s or 7s or anything like that, because then you're basically going to be losing money on the investment.
Exactly, man. I was watching a submission that came back from BGS on 501 or 502 Frank. And man, I'm not sending anything to BGS after watching that. There was cards they deemed not centered, and they gave them 8.5s on cards that looked pretty centered to me. Like, you know what I mean? And he was even saying like, "What is wrong with this? Like, maybe it's 9.5, 9, but not 8.5." Because a 0.5 could mean the difference of a card being gem meant 9.5 or 10. Depending on, you know, the rest of the grades and stuff. So each one is very, very important, especially with BGS on how their grading system goes. So, you know, with maybe PSA, you know, if you're in that 8.5 to, you know, mark or whatever, sometimes you can get swayed in that 9, where with BGS they're going to give you a straight 8.5, and that's a hurt piece.
Well, that's one thing I want to do, man. Like I really want to get that LeBron 8.5 I have BGS sent over to PSA, because I've heard you can send the slab, and then if it's not an upgrade, they'll just send you the slab back.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, especially for you.
I think it could pull a 9. Like I really think it could pull a 9, in my opinion. That was the main reason I invested in that 8.5, because going into it, I in my head I was like, I'm sending that to PSA, because the grades are decent enough to be a 9, in my opinion. It looks clean enough.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if not, I'll waste $20 trying to get that into a 9
for a card like that. You know, go up a half point or whatever. Some people they're like, well, that's not a big deal. That's a big deal with that card, because that card could
it would bring it from like 1,500 to about 2,400 right now.
Oh yeah,
in a 9. That's what's crazy. Like right now, where I bought it at a G, it's about 1,500, and if it was at 9, it'd be about 2,400. That's the crazy thing.
Right, so they can go up $1,500 just by getting it up a point, and then because you bought it at a good price too. So
at least 900, you know, minimum.
Yeah, I mean that would be a. I mean, not that you would sell that, because I know you're a big Cavs fan, a LeBron fan. I'm a big LeBron fan too, so you know that would definitely be a card that would stay in the PC regardless. But
I already told my wife, like, make sure when I die, you like remember how to comp on eBay, because these cards right here is going to be like your like that's how I'm taking care of you. Like, and LeBron's going to be one of those cards. You know what I mean? That's why I'm hoping to get it into a PSA 9, because it'll really make it more valuable one day.
The Luka red, white, and blue for me was the card that I was able to show face to my wife to say, hey, like what I'm doing down here is well worth but our money. And you know, I'm not just down here collecting cards to be a collector. And then whenever cards hit the wall again, knock on wood, I hope that never happens. But you know, like I don't want to be that guy again where, you know, as a kid it hit the wall and then boom, it does it again. So with everything that's going on with the collecting and how they're doing their runs and everything with the different cards, different sets, and different things like that, I think they're really doing a great job where that won't happen again too. So I think I'm a pretty safe bet doing what we're doing. Is there any safe bets in this game? No. I mean, you see what happened to Luka Doncic the other night?
Yeah, I know, dude.
Other ankle.
I threw up in my mouth watching that game, dude. I was like, oh my God, there's like literally my money hobbling. He was jumping on one foot. I'm like, there goes my money.
Well, as bad as it sounds, it was, he said it, he even said it himself. He was happy with his other ankle, not his right ankle. I guess his right ankle has been having issues with all year. It was his left ankle. So now instead of walking a little gingerly with one leg, he's walking gingerly on two. So I mean, regardless, unless it's some huge injury, knee injury, anything like that, you know, his prices and his value will always stay the same as long as he keeps playing the way he's playing. And I don't see that changing. Even if he's 35 years old, still playing the NBA, as long as he has that three-point shot, you know, he ain't going anywhere in a long time. So he might not be able to beat people off the dribble like he does now, which I think is pretty incredible because he's not the fastest guy in the world. But, you know, he's able to do that with pretty much, you know, great moves and precision first step. Like he has a really quick first step to be able to beat people, and he's really good footwork. So that's the reason why, you know, guys like him, where he's not blessed with, say, like, you know, a 440, you know, like maybe some of the other players.
Yeah, I definitely say Luke is another one of those guys that I would even put into the LeBron category already and say he's a long-term hold. Like, for me. He's another investment piece. And actually the Luka prices have actually, they have a question on my mind for you. Out of the cards you've picked up thus far, what card or what player has made you the most money thus far?
Well, I haven't really sold too much stuff.
I mean, like even in gained value, you know what I mean? Like for example, Luka. Like, I was going to say Luke's been up there for me too.
Look, hands down. Like I was buying into Zion, you know, pretty high. Yeah. Because, you know, I was buying everything individual where, you know, a lot of people were buying packs. I've got some packs too, but I wasn't lucky enough to get a lot of retail for retail prices. So instead of buying in breaks like I was doing, where I was able to pick a team and kind of, you know, be happy with that. And with any cards I get, you know, come out ahead, I decided to go more direct with my approach and just buying that player, trying to figure out what players were going to be the next one to go up. With the NBA, everything's kind of going up, but you can kind of pick tiers of which players are going up. Like, it's just the next budding star. Is he maybe a starter, but, you know, just getting on in the rotation and starting and going to be a solid starter in the league? Or is he a rookie and just didn't play that much, and now he's in the playoffs and he's starting to play a lot, like Tyler Hero? I bought a lot of Tyler Hero, and I'm happy because today, and like I was watching him play, he's going to be nice. He's going to be a good player. Is he going to be a Luka good? I don't know. That was a very smart investment. I got a lot of his stuff for cheap. I got 3 tricolor prisms for $50. $50. Those cards, hands down, are beautiful and will go for a lot of money, especially once they're graded. So those are one of the first cards I'm getting graded. I was really super particular with stuff I was sending in. Luka, Michael Porter, Josh Allen for football.
Yeah, I think he's a good one too.
Lamar Jackson. I have one Phoenix card of his that's numbered to 75. That's his rookie, and it's super shiny and stuff. It's a hollow refractor, so I have that. And Zion's, John Morant's. But I mean, I have plenty of players like that are next in line to maybe turn into big dollar guys that I haven't put those to the pile. Because right now I'm at 50 cards. I still even haven't went through all my cards yet to really pick like condition wise what's worth going. Like I have tons of Jordans and stuff that I was able to snipe for good prices. I got a lot of different Jordan cards and things of that nature that are worth good money. I have autographs and jersey cards of like Jamal Murray, who I think's a great player. He's another player that he was starting to bud already, and then I think with the playoffs, like he had 37 points in the game this round. So I think his stuff's even going to take even more of a leap. So I mean that's really like the best advice I can give to anybody that's new to the card game. Like if you're trying to do this with very little money, and you like sports, if you're watching the games and you see these guys playing good and just maybe not getting enough minutes, buy those cards, because those guys will get a chance to start eventually. It might even be a next game or whatever the case is, and then they have a super game where like TJ Warren had 50 points, and then he had 37 points the next game. His cards went through the roof, and then they kind of went back down because his scoring went back down. So it's almost like you got to pick your poison when you're buying. You have to really understand, okay, this have a fluke game? Is this because they played against a bad team like the Cavs, or what's going on? So, you just have to really try to go for the younger players, this rookie class. I mean, I doubt everyone's going to be like a Hall of Famer or anything like that, but there's been a lot of players in this draft class that got a lot of good play and are really good this year too, and last year as well. Like there's a couple players that really got pushed. Devon Graham and PJ Washington this year with the Hornets. Both those guys were getting a lot of run and looking like good possible stars. Someday soon in the NBA. Are they right now? No. I mean, some of it is also what the team has already. You know what I mean? If they're going to a team that's basically, where they're the star and the only star, the success of the team and the other players around them is basically how they get to where you're pretty confident whether you're buying those type of guys, because they're able to learn and play and have success, and that success turns into dollars because, they're getting attention. There's going to be more demand for the cards, more people that outside of their area, like where say people from Cleveland buy Cavs cards or people from Pennsylvania buy Sixers cards. Now everyone's buying those cards. So kind of that's more or less my little tip for you guys. Like if you are going to be buying cards, what to look out for and how to figure out which players are deemed good to buy.
Yep. And another thing too that's really cool about the card market right now is it's like if fantasy sports and the stock market had a baby, that's exactly what's going on in the card market right now, and it's super cool. And not all cards you buy to invest in are going to be long-term holds. Like Nate was talking a lot about picking up the newer players that are drafted this year, last year, those type of guys. And not all of those guys, like he said, are going to pan out and be like Hall of Fame type players, but they might be all-star caliber players. So you might be able to really capitalize on picking them up now cheap, cashing out in the next 5 seasons, as you feel the market dictates on their value. But that's another really good buy low type of investment. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of guys, like for example, one guy I'm huge on, Jaren Jackson Jr. Do I think he's going to be a Hall of Fame player that's going to be in my 401k for my wife to cash in when I die? No, I don't. I think he's somebody that I'll probably cash in, 5 to 10 years from now and be really happy that I invested in him, because I think he's going to have a really good career. But do I think he's a Hall of Fame player? I mean, unless him and John Morant, build some kind of a dynasty, which I pray to God, I hope they do, because I've invested in both of them. But
I have a lot of cards too. I just picked up a Ruby Prism of Jaren Jackson Jr. Graded a 9, so I got that for $60.
Nice.
So if he has any type of big tremendous year next year with John Morant, I mean that card could easily be a $400 or $500 card.
Yeah.
Could you? A string of like a a week or two games, you know what I mean, some success. I think we're going to cut it off here. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you checking out and watching it. And we will be doing different content. It's not going to always be sports. It's going to be reselling sports cards, maybe a little combination during each segment. So definitely check it out. Make sure you're subscribed, and make sure to check out Picksburgh. His link will be in the description. He does all types of reselling stuff, storage units, etc., of course, tons of different stuff, thrifting stuff, all that good stuff. So make sure to check out him and his adventures, and we will see you on the next episode.
See you guys.